Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing this used G Wagon. Depreciation is finally a thing again in the car market, and that means that vehicles like G Wagons are starting to take some really big hits. I mean, the G Wagon over the last year and a half roughly has taken some pretty big value hits, and well, now the prices, they're very appealing. They're very, very appealing. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Draper for giving me some time with this G Wagon. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Corey. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 416 horsepower and then 450 pound-feet of torque. This engine is massively detuned compared to the AMG version, and it's done that way for reliability. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see how it kind of races up towards the center, iconic with that. And then we've got the iconic turn signal indicators too, all smoked out. Same thing with the headlights. And then I love how the G550 has the brush guard up high. The 63 puts it around the bumper. It looks so dorky on the 63s. Whereas this, it's got that clean Safari SUV look. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265 by 60 by 18 in the front and over in the rear. And this actually has aftermarket tires and wheels, which I think look pretty sharp. So here are the wheels on this, has that off-road appearance. And then you can see here with the tires, pretty aggressive. So if it's 265, 60, 18, I think that's like a 31-inch tall tire, roughly. So not massive. 33s I think would look the best on a G-Wagon, but you might have to lift it. Anyways, you can see the body painted fender flares, fixed side steps, and the iconic boxy SUV side profile. Now this comes with a pretty fancy looking key fob. We have our lock and unlock function there, and nothing on the back, but yeah, got a nice finish to it. Now popping over to the rear, it's so cool with the opening. You guys can see here with the red leather in the back, and then we've got a cargo cover built in from the factory as well. You guys can see here with the large windows there in the back on top of that. But yeah, really nice setup. Got the full-size spare there on the back as well. And yeah, again, G-Wagon styling, it's iconic. And then this leads us to the passenger area. So I like how this one was set up. So you've got the kind of like less fancy trim here on the top, and then you got like the fancier leather inside. Looks like it's held up really well over time. This has over 30,000 miles on it. You can see the carbon fiber trim here, heated seats for the rear. And then yeah, you got the fancier leather seats with this. And then you can see we've got the vents in here, own climate zone as well. Headroom's great in the back. Legroom, it's kind of similar to like a Jeep Wrangler, so it's not massive. And of course, to the front, same thing here with the whole door panel setup. And then heated seats. So this one's kind of an interesting spec. No cooled seats, but heated seats. Got memory seats, blind spot ring with the mirrors. And here's the front seat. Of course they're not cooled, they're not perforated at all. So that makes sense. You can see the pedals down below as well. And look at the trim on the dash. Pop in quickly. Listen to that V8 rumble. It's a good sound. Now the door, of course, sounds great with closing. Nice trim all around the steering wheel. Again, it's held up pretty well so far. Paddle shifters there in the back. You can see the fancy controls here on the front as well. Full digital gauge cluster. And then this version, as you can see, just has a backup camera. No 360 in the 550. Also, not a touchscreen. Everything's controlled via a little dial system or on the steering wheel, depending what you want. The G-Wagon, no matter what trim you get, it's triple locked, which is really cool with off-roading. And then you can see with the climate controls and all that, more carbon fiber trim in this area. And then you've got stuff like your drive mode select here, volume control, all of that, stability control as well. And then this is also where your low range is. It's on the other side there. You can see the center console. I will say I've noticed this with used G-Wagons. Center console here kind of squeaks after some time. So that is something to kind of note. Well, it doesn't squeak as the grab hand. Well, actually, no, it doesn't squeak. That was just my hand. Anyways, really nice headline. This is weird spec. It's got like the fancy headliner too. Sunroof up top. too. Anyways, so this one's priced at about $120,000. I mean, just a few years ago, you had to pay like $200,000 plus for any G Wagon, and now they're getting close to $100 grand for the new generation. So let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Over the hood, the mirrors, the rear. And also, I do want to say, my theory was 100% correct. I kind of saw this in some used G Wagons, but now since I confirmed it, this trim, so if you get the base model trim with the, you know, not real leather, this holds up way better than the fancy real leather. So getting a G Wagon G550 with the base leather seats, base everything, so this has like the fancier leather seats and everything, but if you didn't get that, the interior is going to hold up better over time. So yes, I have been confirmed to be correct. Yet again. Not yet again. I'm wrong all the time with a lot of stuff, so, you know. What do they say? Even a blind cat catches a mouse every so often. So, yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, I wanted to do an update with the used G Wagons because, man, depreciation is real again. And I want to do kind of like I don't know how many vehicles I'm going to review in this series, but I want to do a series and review some of these now finally depreciated cars because, you know, at almost $200,000, you know, the G-Wagon's cool, but it's so much money. I mean, that's a, prior to the pandemic, that's like how much some houses could be had for. But yeah, for closer to $100,000, a lot more appealing, because you look at some of the, you know, OEMs like Ford and Stellantis and all that, and they've like a Jeep Wrangler 392, that's $100,000 now. Ford Bronco Raptor, that's $100,000. So like these boxy SUVs you get brand new from other automakers are in the same price range, and obviously people are gonna be like, oh, just go for the brand new car. But you know, when you look at what the G Wagon offers, it's kind of like, maybe it's time to go for a G Wagon, you know, kind of appealing. So what I'll say is ride quality is really good. This does not have AMG ride control. You can get the adaptive dampers on the G550. Some packages come with it standard, some it's like a standalone option. This just doesn't have it. And I will say, it does make a pretty big difference with the ride. A G Wagon with that adaptive shock setup rides quite a bit better than this. This isn't bad, it's still really solid, but it does feel more truck-like. Love the exhaust, it's just so like aggressive. And I will say, this spec on this G Wagon is so strange. It's like fancy headliner, fancy seats, but then no air conditioned seats, like it's the options this has, to me at least, don't really make sense. Like, I don't know why the person spec'd out this G-Wagon the way that it did. I wonder if it was one of those things where Mercedes ended up building it and then they just took it because they're like, hey, better than no allocation. I don't know. It's just a weird build. Gosh, the torque, this engine is really the highlight of the G-Wagon. I will say that. Just so much torque, and it's buttery smooth at the 9-speed. Buttery smooth. Yeah, that's interesting. The AMG ride control makes a really big difference. I've never driven a G-Wagon without it, so I didn't realize how big of a difference it made. Yeah, it's got some torque. It's got some torque. So yeah, we got it in sport mode now. Yeah, it's so aggressive with the gear shifts too. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. And this, I don't know if this has an aftermarket exhaust. I don't think so, but boy, is it aggressive. It's like a freight train. Love this 4-liter V8. Love this 4-liter V8. It's such a cool powertrain. So, overall, G550 G Wagon. And just the you know, the new generation G Wagon. The independent suspension helps out with ride quality, turning radius, all of that stuff, quite a bit. And the new generation G Wagon, it's a good car. Like, I think it's more daily drivable than the previous gen. It's like bigger inside, and it rides better and all that. And now that the prices are coming down, it's, if you ask me, it's a pretty appealing option. It looks good, it drives well, and I mean, it's a lot of car for the money when you're getting into that $100,000 range. So let me know what you guys think. And I'm sure the depreciation will continue to happen on these G Wagons as the new ones, you know, roll out. It'll be interesting to see though, like, because the new G550 doesn't have a V8, it's an inline 6. Maybe these will hold for a bit longer because of that. Time will tell. But either way, let me know what you guys think about the new G Wagon pricing. And I've even seen, I will say, last thing I'll say, I'll even say the 63s, those are even getting, some of them with higher mileage are getting into the low 100s too. So like, that's cool if you ask me. Let me know your thoughts.